Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the True Path Entrepreneur, your guide to living your purpose and growing a profitable, freedom-based business you love. I'm your host, Beth Weinstein. I'm a transformational business coach helping current and aspiring entrepreneurs align with their true purpose and grow their business so you can help more people, profit with your passion, and have a thriving business you love working on your own terms from anywhere on earth. And today I'm so excited to be talking to Ilona Selke. Hey, Ilona.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi, Beth.
Yeah, thank you so much for being with us. Alona's coming to us from not Bali, where she normally lives, but also in the Pacific Northwest on an island. And I just want to say she was in between recording an opera singer. So it's really interesting. She'll tell us a little bit more about that in a minute. But Ilona is an international best-selling author, seminar leader, lecturer, musician, and CEO co-founder of Living from Vision. For over 30 years, Ilona has inspired thousands of people worldwide to discover the power of their consciousness and create a successful life. Her new book, Dream Big, The Universe is Listening, offers real-life stories of transformation as well as practical tips anyone can use to shapeshift their lives from the inside out. She's written 4 books and has 25 CDs to her name, has been a co-author of 2 best-selling books, and has spent over 1,000 hours with dolphins and speaks 4 languages. Her and her husband divide their time between their home in Ubud, Bali, their retreat center on the north shore of Bali, and their home on the island in the Pacific Northwest. And for more information, you can click on the links in today's email, but it's ilonaselke.com and livingfromvision.com. So Ilona, yeah, you have such a full life. I thought I had an amazing life, but here you are on an island. Tell us, you're recording an opera with a Tibetan
opera singer, yeah, a Grammy Award named singer that I fell in love with his voice. And, circumstances happen when you start focusing your mind on anything you like, especially when you've trained your consciousness. Not just say, well, I want, it's more like you learn how to laser sharp focus your light lines of your consciousness and then focal it through the matrix of whatever your choice is, good or bad, and it manifests. And, the problem most people encounter are, of course, doubts, fears, insecurities, and negative beliefs that we were maybe endowed with from past lives and oftentimes from this life. So half of manifestation and half of the work we have to do in order to manifest miracles is purify those parts that are still muddling the lens. And yeah, we are recording. I'm playing flute on all those albums. It's Tibetan music. He's a Tibetan opera singer, and our CDs are called Tibetana 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's that's where you're catching me right now. But I'm also working on my online courses, and we have a teacher training in Bali. And I love helping people create the life of their dream, which I've done for 30 years. So I have done my homework and I've helped people, so I know what works. So tell me what your questions are, and I'm glad to help tips.
This is totally why I wanted to bring you on. So, as you know, this is about purpose and growing business, but in reality, we all know that our mindset is a huge part of it. Like you and I was just mentioning before, I do teach meditation as part of this path into entrepreneurship and growing your business, because our mind and our thoughts and, like you said, these things that come up can actually hold us back. And you're on this path to help people see that they can create their own realities and their dream life. So, and I know this is what your latest book was all about. So can you talk a little bit more about this idea of goal setting and co-creating? And, I know a lot of listeners have probably heard co-creation, but like, how does it really work? Like, and how can people really manifest everything they want? I feel like I know, but I'd love to hear your take.
Right. Well, as I said, there are some 4 easy steps everybody can do. And I'm going to offer a free app where you can practice at the end of our conversation here. The 4 steps to manifesting are simply being clear on what you want. And actually, I encourage people to dream big. That doesn't mean the biggest ever. It's bigger than you currently have been dreaming. The next one is describe your goal in positive language. Second, that's number 1. Describe, then imagine as if you're already in the future. Most people go like, oh yes, sometime in the future I'll be there. And they will always keep that. And I learned that with the dolphins. When I had success swimming closely to dolphins, it was when I imagined not this, I want to swim with you, but this, I am next to you. And bang, they were next to me exactly as far away as I felt comfortable. Now, my husband had them this close. And I was like, how come they're this close with him and this close with me? And it took me a while to figure out that my subconscious mindset that you mentioned, whether I was aware of it or not, held this space. Because, I mean, believe me, 3-meter yard long being next to you underwater, which makes it look even bigger, is fairly scary when it's this close. But my husband thought this close was just fine with him. So I learned to work through my fears and go, this close is okay with me now too. And then they came this close. It was scary. I had to suppress my scare. I worked on that, transformed it, and I teach specific techniques, holographic transformational work in my course, Living from Vision. But in a nutshell, if you ask fear or anger that you encounter, let's say in your belly, in your tummy, 3 magical questions, 3 magical words. It's like, what do you really want? Ask your fear next time you encounter it, talk to it and say, there you are, my friend. What do you really want? It'll tell you. Wants to be strong, be loved, be understood, be honored, whatever. In my case, with dolphins, I wanted to be close, right? I wanted to be safe being close to dolphins. So then you jump in your emotional, mental body into the future where that has already happened. And you allow non-logically, in a non-linear way, to arrive at the future. So then you take and transform it. I have children's books on it. I have apps, guided meditations on it. I have all these things I can just tell you in 20 minutes or less here. Talk to your fear, talk to what holds you back, even if it's a little nudge of like, if I were a millionaire, will my parents like me? Will my friends need all money from me? Will people come knocking on my door? Whatever those fears are, deal with it and say, what do you really want? Access it through your body feelings. Now, with the dolphins, I learned to get them this close. You know, it's like, so my fears held them this far away until I transformed them. I got them to be I got them to be next to me the way I envisioned it. So describe, envision, and feel as if it's already true. The future has to be yours now when you want it manifest. When you go say yes, it is that way, and no hold bars, nothing holding you back. That's when things manifest. It will still arrange itself according to you, the people you're with, your kids, whoever belongs to your world, who needs to also say yes. I've had people with huge dreams take 2 years. Some people within 3 weeks manifested, but it all depends a little bit on your field and your subconscious beliefs. But
I love this. I love this.
Yeah.
I've actually had I've had 2 of the biggest manifestations of my life in the last 6 months, and one was actually just like 2 months ago. I met like the love of my life, the man I've been dreaming and praying for and manifesting, and he's above and beyond what I could ever expect, right? So it's like, but now what's coming up is like sitting with it because it's so real, and it's like, holy crap, I didn't think this would actually, I mean, I knew it would happen, but it's just it's such a big deal. So I'm curious, like what happens, like, let's say someone wants to grow their business and make 7 figures, right? Like, let's say they're already making 6 and they want to take it to this huge level, and then they get there. And then you hear about this very often where they like almost shut it down, or they sabotage it, or they freak out, which is kind of, you know, in a way that's like what I'm experiencing now is holding this like, oh my God, this man is real.
Yeah.
And now I'm like,
what do I do? Living in fulfillment. You know, a lot of people prefer to live in dreams instead of fulfillment. And so one of the things I had to do in the very early stages is say, I have a choice. Either I dream in this, oh yeah, I really want, in the longing, or in the satisfaction, fulfillment. And then it's like, yeah, it's happening. You know, 7 figures, that's just what it is. You're still you. But so in order to get to this, it's okay feeling and growing yourself there, go take increments. You know, where before I made my first 7 figure, I made 6, 7 figures and just amped it up, you know, and ramped it up until I could hold it in my mind without shivering, without any hair on my back standing up, with it like going, yeah, that's okay. That's exactly what I think should happen. And then it did. So when you need to be specific with your goals, like the numbers, I do encourage people to say, this is what I need. For some people, you need to experiment. It's a number, or it's a lifestyle, what accoutrements come with it. Because some people create this life of traveling without having the 7 figures, but they're still traveling. Mm-hmm. So find out what is actually important to you, and don't make the path how you think you're going to get there the goal. In other words, think of the goal. What do you want? Happiness? Be happy in your mind. Freedom of time restraints? Do that. Does 7 figures get you freedom of time restraints? May or may not. As a matter of fact, usually more money means more work to a degree. It'll come. I mean, so what I'm saying is, if you're making a goal, don't make it your path. Make the end result where you want to arrive. And particularly, like, if you want to live your purpose, I recommend I recommend taking steps. Make incremental steps. You know, there was a time when my husband and he was a musician, had studied classical dance, ballet, and I had studied philosophy. So we were making money another way. I was a massage therapist and a language teacher, and he was a chimney sweep. So when I was 21, that's about back then, 23, 24, to shift out of that and to live my purpose, which I knew from when I was 15, to teach other people how to do this. I knew that. It took years to get there. First, I taught for free a lot. I got really good. I got my self-confidence up. Then when I was really good, I asked the universe, how do I reach all these millions of people? And I got ideas and I followed through on them. But follow through is the thing it takes. Like with a boyfriend, it's like making food every day, lighting a candle every day, looking at each other every day, and enjoying that he's there. You know, enjoying that life is happening the way you want it to, and getting used to the fact that it is, and no longer just a dream. Because as I said, you know, some people relish in having a dream rather than the fulfillment. So get used to fulfillment, and you get things when you're no longer going, oh my God, if this happened, I would just be all tickled. It's like, it'll be when you feel it's normal.
Yeah, it's weird because I do know, because I actually have a lot of clients that experience this and I help them through it. But why do people then get, you know, you said a lot of people actually do just like the dream, and they're not, it's almost like they can't receive the fulfillment. Why do people get scared of being fulfilled? You know, like going after their dreams, like fear of success, fear of, you know, fear of money, like you said, like, fear that their friends will judge them, their family. Like, what's that all about?
Well, like you said, those are fundamental beliefs we have to access and transform. So when you set goals, I would recommend either learning coaching techniques yourself, where you walk yourself through. I learned them from Dr. Vern Wolf. They are included in my materials that I teach, but it's good to have a coach and work with them and have them walk you through those transformations to where you address your negatives, even if you're not conscious of them. If you have a good coach, you know, I guide my people through an internal intuitive process to where they access their own difficulties, and it just pops up. Past lives maybe, or father said, mother said, grandfather did, whatever. These things sit inside of our subconscious. So I recommend working through them and then setting incremental goals to prove to yourself that you can do it. You know, I mean, I say dream big, and it is implying you dream from your heart. So in my book, I have just one woman came from China, and she said, she was really mopey, and it's like, well, as Buddhists, I'm not supposed to really have dreams and desire, you know, it's bad. And they really have a hard time with that. And I said, well, after the 3rd or 4th day, I said, well, and if you did have your life of your dreams, what would it look like? Just let's play. Oh, I'd have a retreat center like you, and here we were having lunch over in Bali, right, in Shambhala, our retreat center, right, looking over the ocean. And she's like, you know, I'd be in nature, I'd be in the mountains in China, and, you know, it'd be in total nature. She lived in Beijing, you know. And it's like, I'm going like, yeah, that's really dreaming big. And I'm like cringing, going, oh God, just setting herself up maybe for disappointment, but I didn't say anything. Fast forward, I think this was in the fall time, and then we met again in February in India at a conference. And we were talking while walking, and she said, oh, did I tell you? The most bizarre thing happened. The government contacted her, and said they were looking for someone to take over a retreat center in the mountains in China that hitherto was only permitted to princesses and royalty. She now this is now 2 years later, runs this retreat center in the mountains of China where they were given ready-made. You know, I was thinking like, right, I know what it takes to build a retreat center. No, but I have to tell you, she has no problem thinking things could just walk in on a silver platter to her, because that's what her dad gave her. So she thought, yeah, of course. So she got this invitation based on this fundamental feeling that I'm worthy of it. So she got it in 4 months' time, where I thought, oh boy, I better not say anything right now, you know, just keep my critic down, you know. I said, that's great, awesome. I'm glad you have a dream. And it's like 4 months later, they still run it.
Never know.
Off the charts. Yes. So go for your dreams. Yes.
Yeah, no, and I love that, you know, this is why I wanted to have you, because I believe in this too. I totally believe in the heart path. I always make jokes that I'm a power manifester, but you know, I've naturally, since I was a kid, always been really connected to something deeper and not so much the mind, even though I'm very heady, you know, like I meditate like crazy because I'm stuck in my head, but I'm also like highly aware of the heart and the purpose, you know, like my purpose, my mission, like deeper sense of that. So, and I'm curious, you know, you mentioned, you know, we've talked about like higher vibration and higher states of consciousness. Now, again, I know a lot about this. I always feel like I'm vibing higher every day, you know, like every day it's getting like stronger and stronger. Like, and I'm one of those people where if I just want something, like I will go after it. Like I don't even flinch. And I've always been like that. So I've always been, you know, I always consider myself like raising it higher and higher and higher. And like, I don't, you know, fear is like, yeah, I get scared, but I don't care about fear anymore. But so how do you explain this to people in normal terms? And then what about people that, you know, get really stuck and they feel like they can't raise up their vibration, or they can't even understand their consciousness?
Right. So it depends on who you're talking with. We all come in with different gifts at different levels. So some people may have just started manifesting, you know, like maybe I want a parking lot spot and then there it is. And that's like, wow, man, this worked. Well, there are two elements to manifesting. One is being clear on what you want and pre-envisioning the future as if it has already come in right now and it's happening to you. The other one is that you are actually, and this is really the fundamental purpose of why we are here on planet Earth, is increase your internal capacity to love and to shine light. Now that is an inside job of your heart and soul, right? So when you increase your vibration, and the easiest way, even when you are just a beginner, is to feel gratitude. In the app that you can download for free from my website, we'll give to you later, you go into every night into what you're grateful for, and you practice gratitude. I mean, gratitude for me could right now, if I say this, you know, it's like, this flower that's here, this color, you know, you, the audience, the people, it's like, I am grateful and I feel it, you know, and it may be small things like the light, the sunshine, anything. With time, you practice raising your energy in your heart, and then it takes you up a notch. And you know the chakras, you know, they go through your bottom chakras, through the top of your head, and then above it, you still exist at this much higher level. And you are actually capable of focalizing your attention to such a streamline that, let me give you a metaphor, would compare a 100-watt light bulb that shines up enough to read a book by at night to a 100-watt laser light that if you align the thoughts, feelings, and everything, and your consciousness raises up to the center of the universe, you can cut steel with 100-watt if it's laser-like aligned. So alignment to the source, however you imagine your source to be, and then learning to increase the focal point of your soul to more and more brilliance. That's when more love and more light will come through you. And that is when magic starts really happening.
I love this. I'm just like, I'm freaking out because I, you know, it's like, I'm like you. I'm always in really deep gratitude and appreciation, but I make jokes and I'm like, my life is pure magic. Because it is, you know, even challenges and, you know, of course there's like sick family members. There's always something, but generally
that's
it's
how we
all,
grow.
yeah, it's all magic. And I've always just seen this. And like, I mean, I always tell people, if you have trouble with gratitude, look at your iPhone, because everybody has a smartphone, and that right there in itself is like, oh my God, we all have this technology that we're able to connect like this. It's amazing. We take it for granted so much.
And we do a lot. So ending your day in reviewing what did work well is an amazing way just to build that muscle of like, okay, so even in the middle of the day, I will sit down with my husband and say, you know what went well? You know what I did well? You know where I feel good about what happened and where I completed something. But here's a number one question that a lot of people ask about manifesting. And it's maybe a final point. We've talked for a little bit, but here is one. Well, how do I know if it's my ego making that choice or if it's truly my purpose and truly my soul?
That's a good one. Yeah.
Good clincher. So here's my answer. I add the letters FTHG, for the highest good. And I assume that there is a higher force in which we're all embedded. And see what we're all teaching here and why this is so important. We teach this in all areas of life is because what you and I know from with deep inside is that the universe is listening. And the universe is smarter than we are. And we can go for the highest good and say, dear God, dear universe, dear whatever I call this something rather that is listening, I see myself as whatever, teaching, being on seminars, stage, whatever you want, in front of thousands of people. And then the reality will happen around it. But if you put the 4 letters in there for the highest good, you say, hey, for the highest good, I give it up. This is my wish. And if it's good, make it happen. If not, just take it. That way you can rest assured that what comes back down is in alignment with your higher self and the source.
Yeah, I love it. It's like I always use the word surrender. It's like put it out there and then surrender. Put it out there and surrender. Yeah. And that's these big manifestations I keep talking about where I'm like, oh my God, these are the biggest ones I've had in my whole entire life. And I'm 42. They were very like deeply approached with that. Like, you know what I want. This is what I want. Very, very, very clear. But then like, you decide, like for the highest good, for the highest good, you decide. And then it's like they say, it was like better than I could have ever expected.
Ever imagined. Exactly. That's so true. Exactly. So that's how we co-create with a higher force. It's not the ego. And that way we actually merge with each wish we fulfill to a higher level of our own capacity of bringing through more light. It's, yes, lifestyle and everything, you need to manage that, right? But in the end, what it reflects is your source connectedness to you. And then you feel happy from the inside because you create happiness first. And the universe brings to you that which matches. All right.
And this is, and what I love about this applies, when we talk about like, whether it's business or life or whatever, it doesn't matter because it's all one. It's all your life.
Yeah.
It's you, it's your soul, it's your journey, your path. And that's why, I even, this series is about things like purpose and business and like freedom, abundance, but this applies to everything you do.
Yes,
I take
this is fundamental.
Business, like even doing this series, I'm like, you know what? I would really love her to be my guest, but you know what? If she doesn't want to, like, that's the universe deciding, right? Like all I can do is ask. All I can do is put my energy out and pray for the highest good. And so far, awesome people. So this is amazing. So can you tell people a little bit more about the free gift that's in today's email? It's an app that helps you manifest. Is that?
Yeah. Right. We all need to start realizing that the successful people do one thing right, and they pre-envision their future. They know even they have 5-year plans, 10-year plans. They have a vision for when they're old. So we might as well get started doing that. If you get up out of the bed, listener, and you're not yet meditating every day or vision or pre-creating your day, at least with a few major points in your day, get started because you'll create better results. I mean, so that's what the app is for. You start your day out right. You pre-create it. I guide you through 8 minutes. It's not much. It takes you just enough to get inward, listen to your heart and soul, and pick one thing you want to manifest. And then in the evening, we end the day on a good note. Equally important. You really need to review your successes and get used to thinking of yourself as, wow, I did that well. I liked it. I'm happy. This didn't work well. I am learning. So the two elements, it's like reviewing what worked well and what didn't work well. With my app, it's called Living from Vision Light, because I teach the Living from Vision course. We're actually in Bali now, coming up in November. We're doing the teacher training course and coach training course, where people learn to teach the Living from Vision course, a 5-week course with a lot of details, like how to transform your problems, of course, how to focus on and energize your choices, how to deal with your inner advisory board, and how to create and pre-create success, and how to deal with your inner values and make sure they're all in alignment, all that. And we teach people how to teach it. We have amazing materials, all print ready. So it's a turnkey ready course, but we also have it just for normal mortals who want to do it for themselves, So yeah, I love it. I am lucky to say that I have this course in Spanish, English, French, German, Chinese, Czechoslovakian, yes, in all these, with daily meditations. And a little taste of that is in my free little app. 8 minutes every day, every evening, and you can practice and get started right there.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you put this out there, because it's so important. I've been on this path for so many years, doing the visioning work and at the end of daily meditation. And, if those of you listening haven't done this or never, I always tell people you have to experiment and prove it to yourself.
Yes.
Download this app, because it really works and it's beautiful. It's like why we're living. This is it. Like, enjoy it, enjoy life, manifest the dreams, your reality, everything.
And it is teaching us that we live in an interactive universe.
Yeah.
It's really, we can become the co-creator and the author of our life, and step out of that victimhood. And it's like, this life is happening to me. It's like, challenges are there. We master them according to our capacity, and then we move on. So thank you very much for having me. Awesome.
Yeah, this has been so good. Thank you so much, Ilona, and everybody watching. Just be sure to download the free gift in today's email. And join us for another interview tomorrow on the True Path Entrepreneur. Thanks so much. Bye.